Would you say I'm fairly independent?
Fairly. And how we miss the West Texas people. You know, they're all special. And we miss that. We don't find them in Houston. We need more West Texas people down here.
Yeah. We're kind of flatland hillbillies here.
He was always a learner. He was an entrepreneur. I learned what that meant at a very young age.
I had invested in oil and gas and construction, residential, service station, and small commercial buildings up to 15,000 feet, and Buck Sporting Goods.
I met Bill when he was a professor at WT, and one of my classes ended up to be a class Bill taught. And Bill was so interesting, I was going to take every class he taught, and I did.
I think it was 15 years after I had graduated that I went back, and I had to take leveling courses because most of my stuff was in the science area. And the last semester of 1969, I just walked away from the construction business and finished it up. Dr. Kellerman asked me if I would be on the faculty, and I told him I had never taught school, and he said, that's good. He was putting together a group of faculty. He was trying to make the School of Business kind of like Stanford's School of Business, which required a bunch of their faculty to have a lot of real life experience.
He taught in a different way because he had such good experience in business already. Bill teaches just like he does anything, he does it with stories. He always has a story to tell.
Well, it allowed me to spend more time with my family and to help young people that might have kind of be apprehensive about going to college. And I learned so much from the students. And a lot of people in the Panhandle that I knew would call me and say, I need someone, do you know any students down there? I kind of ran an employment sermon for some of the students.
I was just one of his students that he supported in many ways. I can list you out a lot of people that he called the owner of the business or the president of the bank or whatever to help them get a job when they were in his class. He always helped his students any way he could.
I know he had lots of calls over the years from students that called to tell him how much it meant to them. They were special, and that meant a lot.
I have met over my life many of my dad's former students, in different places when they hear my last name, and knowing the people that he's been in business with that first met him at the university and seeing the impact in their life. I've met people that say, my success in my life is due to things that I learned from my dad.
Betty's a choir girl. Bill is like John said, he's the comedian, and she's the one that
straightens him out.
Yeah, kind of, sorta. We just love them. They complement each other very well. They're just so different, but they're one and the same.
Well, we wouldn't have done anything in business or taken the time to get an MBA if it wasn't for her. She managed the family and took care of everything, and we always talked about investing in something. And she had one requirement that she wanted to hear from me. This is the requirement. Don't tell me how much money you've borrowed. And so I never told her.
Yeah, you did.
So it's been a partnership, and probably would have not succeeded without her looking after the house, the family, our finances, the kids, and trying to keep me straight.
That was a full-time job, but I succeeded.
Ron Watts and Ron Edmondson came to me and said they were thinking about starting their own company. And so one afternoon they came to me and asked what they had to think about and do and so forth and so on. And I just kind of told them how, when I looked at a business, how I analyzed it and evaluated it. Both of them very smart and very good guys, really good guys. And that's how we kind of got together.
His name was Ron Edmondson, and of course I'm Ron, and so Bill just said the Rons. He guided us and gave us guidance on what we should and shouldn't do. And then he called me one morning and he made this comment. He says, I want to ask you, would y'all be interested in another partner in your business? Now, I want you to know that I'm not going to be active, and I'm not going to be a silent partner. And boy, we jumped at it. He's lived up to it. And he's never been active per se in the business, but he hasn't been silent either.
I told him I didn't want to do any work and that I would have to talk to Betty about it. It was your usual response, wasn't it?
I think so. How much money?
Yeah, don't tell me.
I graduated WT and got my accounting degree and worked for this small firm. Well, Bill was a consultant with that firm, and then eventually went to work as a partner with Bill in the company that he was a partner with, Ron Watts and Ron Edmondson, called, at that time it was called Elliott Russell, now it's called Office Wise. He was a character.
Yeah.
That's how we really got to know him.
Yeah. He would pick our kids up from school sometimes for us and let Kyla stand on the console of his car and hang out the sunroof. Yeah. And he would just hold on to her legs, and of course that just would send Betty over the moon, you shouldn't do that.
Bill always wants to help people. He gives money and never wants his name known. He does a lot of things that people don't know it was Bill Semmelbeck.
That's just the kind of guy he was, just helping other people, and that's how we got to know him really well, is because he helped us when we were very young.
He put me through school here at WT, and there were many days, nights that I would go and lay on the floor in his office, and he would help me with homework. And
likewise, working at the store, Bill encouraged me to go for my master's, and I got that here at WT.
I mean, he's the reason why I am where I am.
She was kind of growing up after she got married, and so we helped. That shouldn't be anybody's business. Okay. That's okay. Every once in a while I'd see somebody that kind of had a problem financially, and I'd say, I'll loan you this, but if you don't have the money, you can just accept it as a gift. I think other faculty people did it too, I'm not sure. Never asked, and I'd just tell them that I didn't want to hear about it anymore.
I feel like they're family to us. And I remember Kyla being in first grade, putting Bill and Betty as her grandparents on her family tree that she had to make. He's done so much for us and our family.
And we think highly of both Bill and Betty, and we owe them a lot.
When you think of a distinguished alumni, a lot of times you think about people who went to a university and then went off to do great things. He decided to stay there and take what he had learned, both in the business school and in the businesses that he was involved in, and teach. And there's not a lot of people who can do that.
Bill deserves this award because he was a great professor at WT. He was a great businessman in Amarillo. And I was thinking the other day, really, Bill's been a teacher of mine, or my professor, for 50 years or so.
Shocked. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
There's so many deserving people. I just couldn't believe I was nominated. That really kind of freaked me out. And then the second thing would be that nomination passed and I was selected. That was the second shock. It's a nice honor and a nice tribute, I think, and I think that I really appreciate the effort, all the people have put into it, and but I'm still shocked about it. But I never thought about a legacy or anything. Legacy was the last thing I thought about. Getting those young people through school and successful in life, that's the key deal. I just did my thing and went along.